Welcome to the Beyond Jiu Jitsu podcast, episode number 97. What I learned from Lachlan Giles.
We told you we would be back.
Yeah.
Consistency is king. We had none of it over the last few weeks.
But we're back now, more consistent than ever. Every
I don't know
Tuesday
if ever.
and Friday.
Ever was before we were super consistent.
Yeah, we were pretty
It was so close to making 100 episodes
Without missing a
single, twice a week, every week. And then
we didn't
like life.
stop living in the past, Adam. We're living in the now.
Man, Hanada bought a stack of books. I've been meaning to take a photo and send it to you because like one of them's a David Goggins book.
Yes. Yes, Anada.
You for sure read it because I guess it's like
Can't Hurt Me. I actually haven't.
I think it's that. Oh, no.
I haven't read it.
Yeah, I haven't read it.
Was it. It's called Can't Hurt Me, right?
I think so. Yeah.
That's his only book, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's surprising I haven't read it. I followed all of his other stuff, but I haven't read his book.
Remember the episode we were sitting here talking about like, was it, who are we talking about? Was it Mike Tyson or someone? I think we were talking about Mike Tyson and that he should have an autobiography.
Yeah, he's
and
got like 2 or something.
And we're like, hang on, let's have a look. Oh, yeah.
And then you're like, oh, I totally get it if he's got one. And then we looked it up and he had one. He wrote it like 5 years ago. And you're like, look at that.
Yeah. He's outdated now. A lot's changed since then.
Oh, that was hilarious. I do remember that. But so if you don't know who Lachlan Giles is, then
That's unfortunate.
It is unfortunate.
Yeah, I think most people would know if you listen to this podcast, but for the uninitiated, Lachlan Giles is out of Absolute MMA in Melbourne. He is very well known for stealing the show at last ADCC, where he went into he's a small dude, went into the Absolute division and heel hooked just about everyone. He really highlighted for the world the strength of K-guard and like backside 50-50, heel hooked Muhammad Ali and Kieren and name slipped from my head. One of the other big heavyweights. Anyway, God.
Cyborg or something, was it?
No. God, I've just lost his name.
But he eventually got stopped by none other than Gordon Ryan in the semifinals.
Yeah, fuck that dude. But yeah, and but he got bronze medal in the Absolute division. He's also gave Craig Jones his black belt. So he's very well known as a crazy good athlete, competitor, and coach. He recently did a little free seminar thing up here in Sydney. He has an online video learning platform called Submeta. If you want to check it out.
It's submeta.io.
Submeta.io. I highly recommend checking it out. It's a really cool sort of interactive way of learning, opposed to just having an instructional. You'll have content and then you kind of essentially ask questions and you're given like photo or video references like, okay, in this situation, should I do A, B, or C or whatever? To keep control of the knee line, do I do this or do I do that? And so you actually have to engage a great way of learning.
It's more like a course and it follows your progress throughout. So, for example, I'm a subscriber to Submeta for the because it was part of the seminar that he did. Like it was free for all subscribers to Submeta.
Exactly.
And this isn't sponsored by Submeta. This is not an advertisement or anything. But it's
lucky
cool.
if you want to sponsor us, you can.
Reach out. But at the moment on Submeta, I'm going through a butterfly guard sequence. So I'm like, it shows you your progress bar.
Which is convenient because I don't know anything about butterfly guard. And you keep asking me all these questions and I'm like, fucking what?
I was lucky.
You lost me at Caterpillar. Where's that button? The old Tweety Bird button.
Oh, that's the outro button. Wrong button. I've got like a soundboard with a bunch of buttons, and it's a running joke how I always fuck the buttons up. Yeah,
and we've got 4 blank buttons. We could have a great
Yeah, but then I'll have
I'm
to get
surprised you haven't put in like a
broccoli
or a pull it up Jamie or something in there.
Yeah, I have to do something. But
anyway,
maybe that could be 100 episode. But
anyway, Submeta seminar. He did this free seminar at our gym while he was up. He was up for the ADCC trials. And yeah, it was really cool. So we want to talk a little bit about what he did, what we went over. So let's start with you, Kieren, because for me, it was really cool. I mean, I've trained with Lockie in the past, not as much as I would like to have. I mean, we first met in Brazil together and then again in Melbourne, but you know, we live in different cities, and I can't believe that it was the first time I saw him since I first moved back to Australia. So
it's crazy.
I know Lockie and his wife, Livia Giles, who's also a very accomplished grappler. And yeah, so we all first met in Brazil, and I can't believe I saw them here in Sydney. I was like, fuck, man, I haven't seen you since I first moved back to the country from Brazil, you know? And when I first moved back, I flew into Melbourne because I had a dog with me, and the quarantine center in Australia is in Melbourne. Right. So you have to fly direct into Melbourne while your dog stays in quarantine. So I just stayed in Melbourne and trained at Absolute MMA and taught a class there and stuff. And, you know, and then I realized, fuck, I haven't seen you since then. 4 years has passed. And when back then, they weren't the superstars. Craig wasn't a superstar yet. Obviously, I always knew they were very good at jiu-jitsu. So it was really cool to get to train with them again in person, opposed to just, you know, stalking them online. Be like, oh, what cool shit's Lockie doing, right? So it was really cool. You know, but it was also interesting because Lockie and I are very different heights and body types. So a lot of the techniques he showed were awesome, but then I was kind of talking to him and picking his brain, being like, oh yeah, that's really cool. I do it like this because I feel like I struggle with my legs or whatever. What do you think? What do you think the pros and cons are? And so I got a lot out of it in that regard, that sort of finding I guess maybe, is there a better way than the way I'm doing? Let me rephrase that. Heaps of the things he showed were new to me because Lockie's very innovative with his jiu-jitsu. And so he's got a whole, you know, a wealth of knowledge of techniques that I don't know yet. But some of the things that were maybe a bit more obvious and a bit more simple, it was good to chat to him and kind of have that back and forth of, is there a way I can be doing this better? What do you think? You know, short legs, long legs, blah, blah, blah. But I'm more interested to hear what you thought of it, because it was to some degree quite advanced sort of stuff we were doing.
Yeah, absolutely. So for those that weren't in attendance, which is everyone, it was a armbar seminar. So
all our listeners are like, fuck, man, I want to learn leg locks from that guy.
Yeah. So ironically, Lachlan Giles, leg lock expert, jiu-jitsu expert, we'll say. He's very well-rounded, and he decided to do a seminar on no-gi armbars. Now, it started off basically, you know, you got to walk before you can run sort of thing. So we started from the ground up, just learning the basic mechanics, fine-tuning some things, pointing out some details. But then by the end of it, we got into some pretty advanced arm bars, like the Choi bar, for example, some different ways to break grips. And what I got out of it was a couple of small details. Obviously, you've taught an arm bar. For those listening, Adam has taught arm bars before.
Once, Kieren.
One time.
I'll never do it again.
So, yes, do I know how to do an armbar? Of course. I'm a blue belt. I know how to do an armbar. Do I know all of the minor details to overcome some of the problems that I've been having with certain people, or just little things that I haven't thought about, or maybe little things you've taught before that I needed to see again? Then yeah, of course, I got lots of little details out of it that when they add up over like a 2.5, 3 hour seminars on just arm bars, they made a big difference. So I'm happy to report, since the seminar, I've been doing nothing but hunting arm bars, and it's been very, very good. So
you're an armbar fiend now.
Yeah, particularly because arm bars were one of the submissions that I struggled with. It was one of the things that I knew was very powerful. I knew was very, very successful at the highest levels of jiu-jitsu, but for whatever reason, I was getting caught up with certain things with my armbar technique. I was just unable to finish as many arm bars as I attempted, and I didn't really like the submission because I was shit at it, and normally people don't like what they're bad at. But since then, and even just before that seminar, I decided to work on my arm bars, so it was perfect for me at the time. And I think it was definitely, it given me that encouragement, confidence to just go for them. And now I'm hitting crazy arm bars from every which way, like going from the back to arm bars, going from, you know, ridiculous positions, like getting over under pass by Ollie and then hitting an arm bar, or like, you know, going for like a sit over arm bar from your, what would you call it, deep half guard positions. And just like looking, it's like when you focus on one thing, and I spoke about this with the over under, and this would apply to any technique. When you really focus on the one technique for a short period of time, like a very condensed period, you start to see it everywhere, arm bars everywhere. And that's what I'm going through at the moment.
Yeah, it's so good. Like when it was funny, I had a private this morning and I was talking to the student about that. You sometimes have, when you try to implement something new, you'll kind of have like one step back, two steps forward.
Yes.
Because initially you kind of have a bit of a lapse in your jiu-jitsu because you've got blinkers on or it's a horse. Blinders, yeah. Right? They're called blinkers, on the ones that they put on horses, right? Race horses.
They're not blinders.
No, blinkers.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but my mum has horses and she told me they're called blinkers.
All right.
But I don't know. She's not an authority.
I trust.
I don't know. Anyway, there's those things.
Yep.
And yeah, so you're so focused that you might be like focusing on the armbar, and then, you know, you don't realize that they were giving you their back the whole time or whatever. So there's often a bit of a step back first, but then there's 2, 3, 4 steps forward, right? And now you start to, once that then integrates with the rest of your jiu-jitsu, right, you start to, see it everywhere.
And it's great. It's great because like, particularly when I first started, like really just hunting for them, it was pretty much exclusively from guard. I wasn't really using it as an offensive when I was in a good position. I'd go for my A game, but now I'm integrating it into my A game. But the point I was making, when I was trying to hit all these arm bars from guard, I was just not getting the arm bar and getting past. So it was very discouraging. Like, because I wasn't even getting close. I didn't even have their elbow. They're always pulling it in and just passing me and just smashing me and punishing me. So I was like, fuck this. I'm just getting my guard passed. But now they're
fucking arm bars suck.
They're working. They're working. And then I'm chaining it to different techniques. I'm like looking at Kimura, to armbar, to triangle, to whatever. Like I said, from the back, if I can't get the choke, or I lose their head and I'm about to lose the back, shoot the armbar, go for it. Or if I'm getting past with over under, like I said, just shoot for the armbar and see what happens. And now I'm you know, because I'm spending a lot more time in those positions, I'm getting better at them, more experience, more time, you know?
Yeah.
And it's feeling fucking awesome. I love arm bars now. They're like my favorite thing right now. I remember ages ago I was talking about like my only submissions that I go for are like, you know, your rear naked chokes, Kimuras, and bow and arrows. Now, arm bars is in there.
Was it an arm bar that I got you in last night? What was it that I got you in last night?
No. It was like a collar choke. Yeah. Remember? And I was like,
that's right.
It's just like a cross collar or something.
Yeah, and you almost went out, and then because you didn't go out, afterwards you were like, I shouldn't have tapped.
No, I shouldn't have, because I was about to pass. Because if
No, you weren't. You were in half guard.
No, I was about to pass, bro. Like, you don't understand. You don't understand.
I see red, bro. I see red.
I was about to pass your guard in my mind.
That's all the blood in your eyeballs.
No, so I was about to get my head out. I just felt it. I shouldn't have tapped because I knew you didn't. I knew you didn't have another 10 seconds in you.
It was so deep. You know, the only reason that you may have gotten out is because like it was hurting my elbow.
Yeah, exactly. I knew you were compromised.
Yeah, the day before, I've never come so close to breaking my arm without it breaking.
Yeah,
where it just wasn't caught in a submission, but I kind of like got tangled up and my arm got like trapped in the gi somewhere, and then I also like. My arm was posted on the ground, and then I kind of like fell all my weight through the back of my elbow. It was like, man, I thought it was going to snap, but it didn't. So my elbow's a bit sore. And then so I was squeezing on the choke, and I was like, my elbow. But I saw you, I was like, but Kieren's face is redder than a raspberry. Keep squeezing.
I should have held it because I wasn't, when I tapped, I was like, oh, okay, that kind of, you know, I tapped not late, but I tapped on time. And
yeah, and for you, you're like on time is early.
Exactly.
You know? You're like the opposite of, you know, that expression, like if you're on time, you're late.
Yeah, you got it 5 minutes early.
Yeah, you're like if it's on time, it's early.
Yeah.
Kieren's like, if I'm not lightheaded, that was early.
Exactly. There's an expression in the Navy, particularly during training, and it goes, if you're not 5 minutes early, you're 10 minutes late. And it doesn't make any fucking sense. So if you're on time, you're late, it's stupid. But it's just a Navy thing. But it makes sense to be prompt or whatever. But yeah, totally. I felt like I could have given it a little bit, but I didn't want to at the time. Like I had that little voice that's like, nah, just fucking tap. Don't, come on. And I hate that voice now.
Yeah. I think if it was like, if there were 5 seconds left in the round, would I have gotten it? No. I reckon you would have held.
If I knew there was 5 seconds, I definitely would have held it.
Yeah.
I would have fought it.
But anyway, you're living in the past, Kieren.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just wanted to, talking about when you said, I used to go for arm bars and people would rip their arm out and I'd get past or whatever.
Yeah.
A bit unrelated to what we're going to continue to talk about with
That's
with
not
what
like
we
us.
learned from Lockie. But I often try to teach my students that one of the best – remember we did the episode only a few episodes back about
aggression?
being aggressive, and I used the example of Jonas as being the – 93 as having a super aggressive guard. And then we actually had Nick, one of our Patreons, visiting from New Zealand.
Yeah,
and
shout out to Nick. Sorry I didn't get to meet you, Nick.
Yeah, that's
sick.
right. You weren't there.
Yeah.
Fucking chest infection, piece of shit.
Sorry, Nick.
You didn't get to see Nick.
Yeah, I was disappointed.
I know.
myself.
I told him I'd pay him to beat you up, and then you didn't turn up. He was like, Kieren's ducking me, bro. But no, Nick, legend, bro. Thanks for visiting. You're welcome anytime. But yeah, I was like, Nick, that's Jonas. That's the guy I was talking about.
Yeah,
his guard's super offensive.
Yeah.
But just kind of winding it back a little bit, I teach my students like, we could develop your armbar technique and skill, which is one way to do it, which is obviously your armbar has improved since the seminar with Lockie. I mean, it was a long seminar. We did probably 2 hours at least. Of just technique. Yeah. And then at the end of the seminar, like Lockie rolled with everyone.
Yeah, I rolled with him. It was great.
He rolled with, I think the only people I think the only people he didn't roll with were the people who, I don't know, had to leave. Like he rolled with everyone.
Yeah, he stayed and rolled. Like literally people were queuing up to roll with him. He rolled with absolutely everyone
with no break in between.
Yeah. Absolute legend.
My friend was like, did you heel hook him? I was like, no, I just slammed him, knocked him out. No.
Just swift over.
So that's one way to do it. But also if you're talking about specifically guard, I think a bigger piece of advice is to have better guard retention, because you've heard me say this before. If you, let's take a hypothetical situation. If I said, man, no matter what you do, no matter what mistake you make, it is impossible to get your guard past, right? You'd be like, sick. I'm free to attack whatever crazy thing I want. So in other words, if you're really comfortable at retaining your guard after a failed submission attempt, you're then more willing to attempt submissions.
100%. And that's exactly what I'm going through at the moment. My guard has become way more aggressive, because instead of it being like survival and, I need to get back up and I need to get back on top, it's now like I can submit this person. So I'm going to relentlessly attack, and I have that guard retention to rely on because it's gotten better.
Yeah.
It's great.
So, and the way that sort of connects to what Lockie showed. So in the beginning of the seminar, it was relatively, still great information, but relatively basic in terms of, we just looked at the mechanics of the arm bar, which for a lot of people is new information, right? Even some, colored belts, they might not be aware of some of the more detailed mechanics of the arm bar. And we looked at some grip breaks from a standard arm bar, right? Like as if your opponent's flat on their back, right? Yeah. Not an arm bar from guard. And that was cool but Lockie also made a great point. Like he showed his favorite armbar grip breaks. He said something really, really good, because as he went round, other people were showing him like the grip breaks they use. And he was kind of like, he said something along the lines of, man, there's like, I don't know, let's say there's like 100 different ways to break the grip for an armbar. He's like, maybe like 10 of them are good. He's like, as long as you master like a few of those 10, you're sweet. Whichever one works best for you, So what I was saying at the start of like the long leg, short leg thing, like I really liked Lockie's armbar grip breaks. They don't really work super well for me, or at least the way that I do it. But I've had since then some students do it on me, right? And it works really well for them, right? Like, so kind of like what he said. He's like, oh, man, there's like 10 of the 100 are good. As long as you know a few of those, you're sweet, right? So there's there's more than one way to skin a cat. That expression's really intense, actually. Think about it. Fucking hell. Yeah. Anyway, but then we went into the Troy bar, and this is where it's kind of, I think, connects to what I said about guard retention stuff, because a Troy bar is a bit more of an advanced.
What is a Troy bar?
I don't know, some type of sushi roll thing, like a chocolate bar from Japan. I don't know. It's I believe it's named after this guy, I think. But anyway, it's really just like how I'm trying to. For those who don't know, I'm trying to think, how can I explain it really clearly in an audio format? So the entry to a Troy bar is pretty much just K-guard on their arm instead of on their leg. But the thing that makes a Troy bar a little bit more advanced is it typically appears from passing attempts. It's not to say it's not – so like how – let's say –
So they're passing a Toriander or something like that.
Yeah, so let's say I'm lying flat on my back and someone is passing to my left, right? I'm essentially going to keep it simple, like I'm essentially going to try to like gable grip around their elbow of that arm that's closest to my head.
So their left arm?
No, it would be their right arm, right? Because they're passing to my left. So their right arm would get to me first.
Yep.
Right? And then my right leg is going to go over their head, behind their armpit, and in across their belly, kind of like turning it into a Kimura / belly down armbar position. I think that's the best way I can kind of explain it in an audio format, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of a Troy bar. So they come about from people essentially being halfway past your guard. So that's kind of what makes them more advanced. Right? Whether you let someone get there so you can attack a Troy bar, or whether you attack a Troy bar because they got there despite your best efforts to keep them in front of your guard, the nature of where you throw up the Troy bar from is more advanced, right? And if you have really poor guard retention, chances are if they get that far, they're probably just going to pass you anyway. That's my opinion on the position. Could you do a Troy bar sort of from a closed guard-ish position? Yeah, you kind of could. It's like very similar to throwing your leg over the head to attack a Kimura from a closed guard sort of position. But it was there were some really cool details that Lockie had about the mechanics of the Troy bar. But once you get into the position, you're essentially in a belly down armbar, really. And then you're just trying to like break the grip. And now everything else applies, like the mechanics of the armbar and, do they roll? And then it turns into a regular armbar and you got to break the grips and whatnot. But when I had a roll with Lockie at the seminar, first time we've rolled in bloody years. And like I said, last time we trained together, he wasn't the superstar he is today. But he was quite specifically trying all the Troy bar stuff. It was good to feel it in person, like the amount of control that he can generate with it. And it was a lot of fun. Like I got a lot out of it. I probably only hit one Troy bar since.
I haven't hit a single one yet.
Oh, bro, come on. Yeah, but they're quite hard, right?
I got to drill it, yeah.
But yeah, like you were there, so you know what I mean. The position that you attack it from
it's very difficult.
Is almost them being past your guard, right?
Yep.
So how did this come about? Well, this came about because it was a very natural progression, right? Like he said, well, K-guard came about because people would go to, you can attack K-guard with your opponent in front of you, but it's also a very good guard retention tool.
From what they can.
Sorry, excuse me. Like someone is passing your guard, you can reach up, grab their legs. You don't even necessarily have to invert, right? You just kind of do a kind of back roll to get your hips up and around their legs and you throw K-guard in. But then what if people start passing essentially around to north-south, but they're almost more sprawled out in kind of a push-up position because they don't want you to grab their legs and go to K-guard. Well, that's where then the arms become the legs, right? And you pretty much do the exact same thing you would do to someone's legs, but to their arm to go to a Troy bar.
And instead of like the gable grip around their knee, that knee is obviously the elbow.
The elbow, that's right, yeah.
That makes, when you phrase it like that, it makes more sense in my mind because when I think the Troy bar, because of how complex I felt it was at the time, it gets a bit hazy, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But now that you've explained it as just, it's literally K-guard with the arms, it makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, pretty much is, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, there was some. So actually hitting it is, I found kind of, at least for me and my game, it was quite hard to hit it in rolls because I don't really even want people getting to that position. I'm actually quite fortunate with my long arms. I can often still reach their legs, you know, and just go to a leg entanglement. But I mean, Lockie operates at another level and fights guys much more skilled. I'm really excited to see him at ADCC.
I am as well. He's got a very stacked division. Oh my God. For those that don't know, the ADCC division that Lockie competes at is 77. And it is absolutely stacked with talent.
If you, I mean, all the divisions are stacked at this ADCC.
77 is the one that I'm particularly interested in.
It's going to be,
and 66.
I mean, it's going to be the biggest ADCC of all time until the one in another 2 years.
Exactly. It always is, which is good. It means that the actual event, the sport is growing, and it's fantastic. Read some names off.
So we got JT Torres, Hanato Kanutu, Lucas Lepri, which, man, Lucas, not only is he Alliance, so obviously I cheer for him. It's even, I mean, I'm not even, actually nowadays I don't really care. I'm more invested in the individual than I want this guy to win because he's from this team.
Oh, the teams,
It's well, I want this guy to win because I like him as an athlete.
Yeah.
It's the only title Lepri doesn't have. You know,
ADCC?
Yeah, so he's like got pan titles, world titles, European titles, Brazilian national titles. I mean, I don't want to count him out because it's Lucas Lepri, the greatest lightweight of all time.
Stacked,
man.
though. It's stacked.
It's hard to, like, the young guns.
Like Krikorian's in there as well.
Man, so let me read the rest. We got Lepri, Mika Galval, Lockie, Cade Rotolo, Dante Leon, Davey Ramos, Nicky Ryan, Roberto Jimenez, Tommy Langnica, or however you pronounce his last name, Oliver Tarza, William Tackett, AJ Barch. Who's this dude? Kenta Iwamoto.
He won the ADCC Oceania trials. And he's very, very good.
And Andy Varela. So like
Kento's from Japan. He
those trials that were just here.
Yeah, he won the finals.
Oh, did he?
Yep.
What a beast.
Yeah, it was a really, really good match, but he fought so well. The other guy that
so who was he in the final?
Apologies to his competitor. There were two like outliers that no one from like the Australian scene really knew well. Right. If that makes sense. Right. Unless they did. But everyone that I was with and the people that I was talking to leading up to the event, we weren't really tracking them. So some of the big names got knocked out earlier. So we were all very shocked that, you know, the semifinals each of the semifinals could have been a final.
Could have been a final.
Yeah. And the favorites, the Australian favorites, got knocked out on both semis. And then everyone was like, who are these guys? Right. But Kento, man, I know who he is now. He's fucking weapon.
Yeah, I mean, but I look at that and, like I said, I don't want to write off Lepri because, he's the greatest lightweight of all time. But I look at that and I go,
it's going to be tough.
If someone was like, where are you putting your money?
Yeah.
I'm not going to name a particular person, but I'm going to say definitely on the young guns.
Yeah, I got Mika or maybe Krikorian, one of those two.
Yeah, like I guess if gun to my head, I would either have Mika or Cade.
Or Cade, yeah. Fuck. And then we also have Ryan as well, so...
Yeah, he's unfortunately had a whole bunch of injuries.
Yeah, that's the only reason I'm... Like maybe Cade or maybe Mika. I think maybe they will be the finals. I don't know, man. Like
it's just... It seems like one competition after the next, it's just like, you know, it's like, okay, last competition, no one over 31. Yeah. Next competition, no one over 29 won. The next competition, no one over 28. It's like, man.
No one over 14.
Yeah, I know, bro. It's crazy. They're so good.
It's amazing. Mick is so good, man.
And
he was hitting the Choi bar. He's hit it a couple of times. I think Lockie was saying.
So Lockie mentioned it. So in the final of Worlds that was against Ty though, not against Cade.
Yep. Ty Rotolo.
Yeah, he went for it really aggressively, which then turned into an on the platter attempt, and Ty escaped. But you couldn't quite see it because of the angle. So this was from essentially close guard. So you can still attack it from close guard with that sort of leg over the head, Kimura on the platter-ish position. Because for a Choi bar, you want that internal rotation of the shoulder.
I really like that position.
It's very like the Choi bar entry or position that then connects to essentially finishing an armbar is that Kimura-like, on the platter-like position. But yeah, man, I just look at that division and I go, okay, like, there's not a single person there, and unfortunately for me, it's only because Kenta, I mean, I didn't know who he was.
Yeah.
But if we ignore Kenta, and I'm not discrediting him, but I look at that and any single name, if they were the champion, I wouldn't look at that and go, oh, that's an upset.
No way.
You know, like they're all
it's
fucking.
Anyone's division at the moment. It's so stacked.
Yeah, but, you know, I kind of go, fuck, man, like Miko and Cade on runs. And Nikki, I'm not writing off, but
but
he's just had a bunch of
he's been out of the game for a little while. So, yeah, totally.
But like Hanata Kanuta's so good. Man,
yeah.
I'd
be happy with anyone winning. Seriously.
Yeah, I would really like Lepri to win because I'm a massive fan of him and his jiu-jitsu, and he's a super nice dude. And it's also like if he doesn't win it this year, I would find it. I mean, he's already, I'm not sure how old Lepri is off the top of my head, but I mean, he's already a 6-time world champion. He owns a gym. He's got like a 3-year-old daughter. Like he's coming
now or never sort of thing.
Yeah, he's coming to the end of his competitive career, not his jiu-jitsu.
You could say the same about Lachlan. This might be, you know, maybe not the end, but
Lockie's only a little younger than me, I think.
Yeah.
He's 34.
He's reaching
35.
sort of the peak of his sort of jiu-jitsu.
It's like competitive
jiu-jitsu, of course. Yeah. I mean, he's going to be a world-class coach for forever.
Yeah.
Like he's just got that, you know, that thought process about jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
But when we're on the topic of ADCC, I have to say, we haven't mentioned it yet, that Jeremy Skinner, who has been on this podcast, won ADCC trials.
He did, yeah. He won the 66, right?
Yeah, he won 66 ADCC trials Oceania, and we were talking about him competing in trials. That was his big comp on the podcast episode when he did come on.
Yeah, I think when he was on here, he had the fight coming up with Taliesin Suarez,
which he won. Yep. And then ADCC.
The trials was the next sort of.
Yeah, so a lot of our conversation was geared around that big event coming up because that was his make or break moment.
Also a student of Lachlan Giles. So going back to how credible Lockie is at the start when we were saying, if you don't know who he is, not only was he Craig Jones's coach, Jeremy Skinner's as well, and other big names, Ben Hodgkinson, who made the finals of the 88 kilo division, which he won last time at the trials.
Unfortunately,
this time he lost to what's his name?
I'm blanking. I was there.
Yeah, you were there.
I'm on the spot. I'm like, it was a really, really good match as well. It was quite the upset. But Jeremy, he is competing. Look out for his name, Jeremy Skinner. He's competing at the upcoming ADCC. Flow Grappling did a feature on him because he won with all submissions. His run through ADCC trials was 100% submissions, all via some form of leg entanglement. Funnily enough, he got a knee bar finish in the finals. He got a couple, mostly heel hooks. I don't think he got a straight footlock, but
is 66 a hard weight for him to make? Or
he does have the cut for it. It's not. It is his best weight. There's no way he could do 77. He would need to bulk way. Like he'll need to spend like 2 years bulking into that weight.
You can fast track that bulking process.
Yes, you can. I know a guy.
Jesus, right?
An Asahi, yes. Yeah. So, he does need a cut 66, but he looks good at 66. Like he's not like super fatigued and he's not super gaunt. You know, he fills out into 66 very, very nicely, or cuts down, I should say, into 66 very comfortably. So it is definitely his best chance.
Yeah.
And he absolutely put on a clinic. It was great. And it's funny that I do have to mention this. If you go to Jeremy Skinner's Instagram and you'll see it, but he has an instructional out that, funnily enough, I helped produce.
Well.
I don't get any commission on it.
Not sponsored by Submeta. Not sponsored by Technically.
Technically, yeah. So Technically is owned by Scramble Brand, the jiu-jitsu apparel company, and Jeremy's latest instructional, Quantum Leg Entanglements. It's a very cool name, right?
Yeah.
He's got this sequence that we filmed where it's like this very specific leg entry, and shot for shot they match that with the exact same leg entry that he hit in the quarterfinals in ADCC. And I shit you not, it is identical, and it's amazing that he hit the exact same sequence that he shows in his instructionals. So if that doesn't sell the instructional, I don't know what will.
Can you make a little side by side of that video, or you're saying someone already did?
No, they already did.
Flow Grappling did?
No, it was Technically that did it.
No, but Technically made the side by side from ADCC.
Yes.
Can you steal that and we'll post it so people could know what we're talking about?
Sure, I can try, but probably not. But
just send me the Instagram link and I'll steal it.
Okay, you can steal it, but it's really cool. So
I will repost it and tag.
Yeah, repost it. Yeah,
that's what people do, man.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine.
Fucking, it's on the internet.
It's like a vertical thing, and above is the sequence from ADCC, and below is from his instructional, and it's identical. I
want to see it.
It's so cool. It's like, yeah, it just goes to show like that. You know, with these instructionals, you can buy an instructional on banana guard or fucking tarantula guard and never see it in the competition. Or you can go to proven techniques and see them working in competition, which is why Gordon Ryan always focuses on hitting whatever instructional is coming up. He focuses on that. Or Lachlan Giles, you can see his K guard working at the highest levels. And now Jeremy Skinner.
Yeah.
It's cool.
I actually haven't seen what will be. We've gotten a little off topic from talking about
what were we talking about?
Lockie and Troy bars.
Yeah.
But there was this video. I haven't seen what the So hang on.
Yeah.
So there's I just found this video.
Yeah.
So there's a video of Ty Rotolo, one of Andre Galval's students, and he was asked a question about the upcoming super fight of Galval and Ryan.
That's on 1FC, right?
No, the super fight at ADCC.
Oh, the ADCC. I'm thinking of Felipe Pena, I think.
No. Yeah. And so he was asked his opinion of that upcoming super fight. And I mean, obviously he's going to back his coach, of course. But I mean, I just speaking about Gordon Ryan and how much of a troll and piece of shit he is, but also you can't argue with his jiu-jitsu and his ability to like clear as day be like, here's my instructional, look at me do that on another fellow world champion, right? But like I just interested, I don't really keep up with all the comments and stuff on Instagram, but I'm wondering what Gordon Ryan's reply
will be to it.
Have you seen this?
No, I haven't. But
can I play this or will we get copyrighted?
I don't think the audio will come through. I'll get it on my phone and I'll play it. But yeah.
Anyway, long story short, he pretty much says that he reckons Gordon will Galval will fuck up Gordon. Reckons he'll like outwork him and tire him out.
Oh, that's a bold statement, man. That's a bold statement.
And I was like, it is. And I was like, okay, of course you're going to back your coach.
Yeah.
But I just wonder what online reply Gordon has been like.
We'll look out for it. We'll keep you informed. We'll look out for it. But
Anyway, like fucking Gordon, right?
Yeah. I think what makes him such a character is no one's done that sort of shit before. Like the whole, the triangle thing, how he drew the triangle and gave it to the commentator, open this after the match. The showmanship like that, no one else is on that level yet.
Like he wants to go down as the best grappler of all time. This is what he should do, despite how much I say I dislike him. It's not, I just don't really have a lot of patience for like online trolling.
You don't like
stuff.
The persona.
I don't like trash
the online
talking
persona
and that
he
stuff.
has.
I just, and maybe in person that's not him.
No, that's not totally.
I don't know, right? Yeah. But I'm not into it. But imagine, so like in 2017, I think it was, Cobrinha did so you've got what's considered the Grand Slam in Jiu-Jitsu, winning Euros, Pans and Worlds and Brazilian Nationals, I think.
That's the Super Grand Slam, right? Winning all four?
Well, the Super Grand Slam is, so the Grand Slam is winning Euros, Pans and Worlds. Cobrinha did the Super Grand Slam, they called it. I think he's still the only person to have ever done it, where in the 1 year he won Euros, Pans, Worlds, Brazilian Nationals and ADCC.
That's amazing.
Right?
That's amazing.
Imagine if Gordon did this, right? Because I heard, not naming any names, but I heard, how Gordon and Nicholas Marigali have been doing some training together because Marigali's been training with him and Danaher.
Yes.
And there's been some photos popped up of them rolling in the training in the gi. And whatnot. I heard a rumor that apparently like Gordon was smoking Marigali in the gi. Rumors are rumors. I don't know. And it's also just training. So I don't know how much weight is behind that. But there's no doubt that
Gordon's proven himself in gi before.
There's no doubt that if you put Gordon in the gi, he would be astronomically good. Right? The same way that, okay, Lepri hasn't won ADCC, but take him out of the gi, he's still one of the best, lightweights in the world.
Yeah.
But imagine if Gordon did this, right? Imagine if in the 1 year he did, I don't know what you call this, the uber duper super mega grand slam.
It would have to be the Gordon Ryan slam or something.
The Gordon Ryan, the Ryan slam.
Yeah.
Imagine if in the 1 year he won not just like Euros, Pans. So he does what Cabrinhas does. He wins Euros, Pans, Worlds, Brazilian Nationals, ADCC. But then with all of those, he wins them weight, absolute, both in gi and no gi. Imagine if you did all that in 1 year. I don't even know.
Undeniably the best grappler of all time.
I don't even know if that's humanly possible. Like,
it's
is
a lot of
physically possible?
Yeah.
You know,
you wouldn't have much time between comps.
Not at all.
You'd have
but
like
imagine
a month.
that. Like that would be.
That would be
crazy.
Then he gets popped on the fucking podium, mate.
Yeah.
He's
that
gonna
would
get
be
popped.
an astronomical accomplishment. Imagine. It'd be crazy.
Incredible. It's incredible.
But anyway, even without that, you can't. I'm not saying he needs to do that before he's credible. I'm just saying before he's regarded as one of the best of all time.
He's
Whether you like him or
conversation.
hate him, holy shit, you can't fault his jiu-jitsu.
I'm looking forward.
So good.
I'm looking forward to this ADCC so much. I'm going to get Flow Grappling just to watch it.
We might be having a watch party.
Oh, definitely. I mean.
Well, it's funny. Probably
not
at the gym. I'll probably be like, "Hey, Alex."
I was about to say, Alex, what are you doing,
Alex,
man?
you got a nice house.
Alex's beautiful house.
We do a watch party.
Yeah. So it will be. It should be during the day, right? Being at nighttime.
I think because it's in Vegas, it'll be. I think. Well, it's over 2 days, right?
Yeah.
So I think if we were doing a watch party, it would just be for the finals.
Yes, definitely.
Right. So that would then
fights.
be, I think, Sunday morning.
Oh, I'm there.
Yeah.
I'm there. As long as it's not before 3 a.m. Ah, fuck it.
Yeah.
I'll go anyway. It doesn't matter. Fuck it. I'm there. Yeah. I'm really looking forward to ADCC. You know,
every division is stacked, man. And I mean,
stacked.
we say that now. In another 2 years' time, at the next ADCC, it'll be even bigger again. It's just getting bigger.
So I wasn't into jiu-jitsu during the last ADCC. I don't think I'd started training yet. So I missed the hype, and now that I've had 2 years in the sport, I know personally some people competing in ADCC.
You do, you went to school
amazing.
with Jeremy.
Which is cool. I've been.
You met Lockie at the.
Yeah, I've been following along, and Craig as well. We had Craig Jones. Yeah. We met him. So I've been following along with the journeys of all of and even Mika. I've been following along with his journey, and a whole bunch of other athletes. That this is the first, the Olympics of jiu-jitsu, if you will. Really.
Yeah, because I mean. Mika was what, like a purple or brown belt when you started.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
You were.
It wasn't on I'm sure he was on the scene, but not like in the limelight that he is now. So it's really exciting for my position to know enough about the sport, and I've spoken enough about the sport now, and I've followed the sport long enough that I'm really excited for this. More than Worlds. It's great.
Yeah. In saying that, Worlds was fucking awesome too.
Worlds was awesome. And I'm disappointed I didn't get to watch as much of Worlds that
If you haven't watched the Mika and Ty fight,
I haven't even seen that yet.
Lightweight final.
Yeah.
Fucking, I mean, it's not like, wasn't like a Forrest Griffin UFC fight. If you
yeah, I remember Forrest Griffin.
With Stefan Bonner, wasn't
big
it?
Ears, fucking.
Anyway, it's like it's still like you got the two youngest, most explosive, exciting grapplers, and it wasn't like some boring in the gi match. Like it was still a fucking sick match.
Yeah,
man. It was awesome.
I'm looking forward to it.
All right, guys. Well, anyway, if you want to learn more from Lockie, again, we're not sponsored by Submeta,
but check it out. It's worth checking out, even for a month.
Yeah, like
$25 for a month.
Like we said, it's not like an instructional. It's more like a course. You actually got to participate in it. So, in other words, you should learn more.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, if you don't know who he is, now you do know who Lockie is. Look out for him at ADCC. And we'll also talk in the future about what we learned from Craig Jones because we had some training with him recently. So we got that coming up. But until then, guys, we're back. It's good to be back, and we'll catch you on the next episode.